Bro, so tell me why going outside nowadays feels like a $50 minimum. So it's like what, $7 for coffee for those who have to go to work early in the morning. It's like $20 per meal max if you want to eat well in the afternoon or in the evening. If you have to pay for parking, that's already like what, $10 or $25 if you're in a very populated area like downtown. Or your car is a gas guzzler, and then you have to pay for like what, $6 gas, and it's just up to this point it's more like, what the, might as well just stay at home. And I don't think it's a form of being antisocial. It's more like, dude, I just can't afford to go outside anymore. And plus, like, we all have those moments where we see something that we like and we want to buy, and we go against our best judgment and buy, and maybe it's for the best. Maybe we wanted that item that we wanted to buy so bad, but to my point, we walk outside and it costed us like what, $50. That's why for me nowadays I just like to stay inside. I think back then when it was a bit more economical to go outside, I used to go outside a lot. I used to do the whole shebang about going, do the nightlife stuff, go to malls, buy new clothes to up my wardrobe, because I started working at the office, and you know what that means. I can't go in there walking in with J's or whatever with one of those weird vests. I can't go in there looking like Hood, right? I gotta go in there looking like I can do something with the calculator or something. But to my point, I just feel like staying inside nowadays because everything's too expensive. So maybe staying inside is a new meta. So there are a couple of topics I want to explore in this conversation right now. The first one is just facing the facts that life is getting ridiculously expensive. Cost of living is rising faster than wages. Groceries feel like luxury items. Rent hikes hit people. It feels like there's no escape. Even basic hangouts, basic hangouts you want to do with your partner, with friends, cost everything. Cost expensive. Like food, drinks, movies. Like I said, you walk outside and it's already like a $50 hit to your account. And what to do in this case? You can either just, well, if you're a baller, or if you like credit card debt, then I guess by all means hit it. But if you're like me, you're trying to save, you're trying to do this financial freedom stuff, right, and better yourself for the future, then all that means is to, if you don't want to go out today, or don't want to go out this week, then don't go out. But eventually go out, because come on, staying inside all day is just like not okay. What I do as of right now is I go grind, I make videos, and then I go to the gym. I like to think that I'm fairly fit. I know I can push some weight. I can do 3 plates on the squat, 3 plates on the deadlift. But to my point, I stay active and I go to the gym. I think that's the best way for me to stay sane, blow off some steam, and I guess every now and then I could be social too at the gym if I'm not going out to the mall or to another spot to practice social skills or whatever. Every now and then I go talk to cold approach and get rejected. But that's for a different story. But that's the point of this first section, or this first part of the conversation right now. The reality is that life is getting too expensive, and you can either keep up, or if you have no shame, or if you have nothing against staying inside, then stay inside. The second part I want to talk about right now is how this affects mental health and your wallet. So people feel guilty for spending, even on normal things, like how I mentioned earlier. It feels like there's always a constant fear of falling behind. And what's weird is that if you don't have enough to cover something, even simple, it takes a toll. It takes a toll on your head. Why? Because you're expected to cover the most simplest basic stuff, even like for yourself, and it's hard because everything is just too damn expensive. So what's the solution? We can either work a bit harder, or pick up a job on the side, or just don't go outside. I try to do everything all at once when I'm already outside. Like, for example, if I have errands to run, I'd rather do it while I'm at work or after work because it just makes sense. If I'm already outside burning all this gas, at least I can justify the coffee, the lunch, or whatever it is I want to buy myself, right? I can justify it because I had already worked. I'm outside, what have you. I think staying inside after a while affects me mentally because you're just inside all day, not doing much. Or if you are doing something, it's kind of on repeat. Because what I do is like I said, I study, I grind for these videos. I make sure that I try to be productive as possible. I try to be productive as possible when I'm inside and outside because I go to coffee shops to study too. But to my point is, being inside after a while it takes a toll on you, especially if you're not living alone. Of course, that's gonna be hard nowadays because everything's too expensive. Something not getting along with your roommates, something not getting along with the family, or even if you are, people get in your way. It's something that I don't like to admit, but sometimes you just want nothing to do with anybody for a long period of time. You just want to be by yourself, and that's not something to be ashamed about. That's not something to be like, ugh, like why am I like this? It's just how it is. Some people are like this, and some people are not. I think the idea is to just not be not be mean about it, right? Yeah, anyways, the third part of the conversation I want to cover right now is, why staying inside, it's just becoming the new normal. I know I'm not the only person that's thinking like this, that wants to stay inside just because things are getting expensive. So it's not about, being an introvert or what have you, right? I think it's just simple and basic economics, right? If you have a certain amount going in, you can't have that same certain amount going out. That's just a thing, right? And it's bad if you're pushing it more down in the red, right? It just is. So going out in short means that it's a high cost. You don't get much out of it except for like whatever you buy and whatever you consume, eat, right? Versus staying in, low cost and high control. You pretty much don't have to do anything unless you have a credit card that you'd like to have a loose hand with. But to my point, there are ways of staying inside and and having, what do you want to call it? Like enjoying your time inside your house, not in prison. What's funny is that, like, back then, if I look at things retrospectively, because back in the day I used to go out a lot. It's very a simple amount that I spent in a night out could be a week of groceries, and whatever I buy isn't necessarily a lot in terms of like, oh, this item's gonna cost me what, 10, 15, 20. I try to eat healthy, like vegetables and like salmon and like every now and then meat. I do try to cook. But anyways, to my point, whatever you spend outside, it could easily cover the cost of your groceries. So maybe being inside is definitely worthwhile. Some people may think that this is more like, this person's being antisocial, this person's just broke. Maybe. But I think overall I like to think of it as just being financially aware. You're not a boring person, you're just budgeting. So the fourth part of the conversation I want to open is I think staying inside is I think the new financial cheat code, which is weird. So you can save money without feeling deprived when you're indoors. Because think about it, the old saying as it goes, there's no place like home. At home, you have access to games. You can talk to your friends on Discord. You have movies if you want to have a movie night with yourself or with your partner, or even inviting some friends if that's even possible. And also, you can cook at home if you know how to cook. Sure, you can Uber Eats it, but that kind of goes against what I've been trying to talk about this entire video. The idea of just saving money just because it starts to get expensive. But anyways, being at home is cheap, chill, and you can still have fun. I think the most important part about this is that like you avoid impulse spending when you're inside, right? So no random Target runs, no random like $16 to $18 cocktails they want to buy, and especially the Uber rides that you get to avoid. I don't want you guys drinking and driving, but those rides are expensive. They could get up to what, $40, $60 if you live far. That's crazy. I think also what we can consider is that you get more control of your time when you're inside. I think inside equals rest, while outside is spending. You could get stressed if something goes sideways. You're driving a lot, and also you're waiting for, like, say you got a line. You wait, especially in traffic. That goes like what, minimum 30 to an hour of just being in traffic. Who wants to do that? You know, when you stay inside, the good part about it is that you can actually try to learn new skills that can in turn make you money. So like you can learn a new digital skill, marketing skill. I talked about AI tools recently. I talked about learning how to edit, like video edits, coding, something on the computer, right? Data analysis, machine learning, whatever you want to call it. Those are things that you can learn at home and do at home. With no cost to it. Maybe electricity if you want to be nitpicky. Maybe your sanity if you want to be like that. All valid points they want to bring up. But when it comes to your bottom line, maybe the trade-off is worthwhile. I think the last point I want to cover in this fourth subtopic is, you know, your mental health takes a bit less damage in terms of, you know, no crowds if you're a bit of a antisocial, which is fine. There's no pressure if you're out with friends to do something, whatever it is you want to do, and there's no comparing yourself to others, because when you see other people, alright, let me tell you a story. I remember I was going abroad. I was waiting for a flight. I was flying Air France, trying to go to Milan, and I saw this person. She came out of nowhere, went straight to the counter to check in, and she said, "Hey, I want to upgrade to business class." And she pulled out her credit card, and she was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I'm like, "Wait, what the? Like, if I do that crap, I'm gonna like feel it for like a week or two, like, and I'm trying to go on vacation to enjoy my time. Like, well, did this person come out?" But to my point, like, I wasn't trying to compare myself. I was more like astonished or like surprised that this person. I mean, if she has a mean, then go on ahead, right? Her money's her money, and if she doesn't and wants to be on credit card debt, and then so be it. But to my point, like, just being exposed to that kind of content, kind of just screws with your head for a bit. And when you're at home, none of that happens, right? But anyways, I would say that staying indoors may become your XP grind. It's very low level. Maybe it could be slow if you think about it. But to my point, you could do everything at home and just chill. So the first topic I want to talk about is reminding yourself that staying inside isn't about isolation. It's just about optimizing your options. Being inside does not mean it's staying lonely. It's more about removing the financial pressure that you get or feel when you're outside. The distraction, that noise that comes with being outside. When you're inside, you're learning to be with yourself. You're in your own thoughts. You bring peace. You bring peace. You start to get a better notion of who you are. That clarity is priceless, I would argue. And you can also start to build routines that help you in your future. But when you do go out, it actually means meaningful and not stressful, because if you've been inside choosing your battles, trying to figure out how to advance your career, and then now when you take the time to go outside and enjoy it, you're like, oh wow, this is pretty cool, because you haven't done it in a while. Yeah, so these last couple of topics I want to bring up to the table right now before I call it a day. I think the game analogy for all of my gamers out there is simple. When you're in games, you don't want to fight every enemy. Sometimes you just want to chill your base. Sometimes you want to upgrade your gear. It's pretty much like Minecraft, you know. And to a certain extent, you know, I'm not trying to like. To a certain extent, it's kind of like Minecraft, to the point where like when you're mob hunting, you go out there, and then you go in, and then you come back inside. You have all your loot that you looted. You have all the XP that you've gotten, and then now you want to like focus on rebuilding your like armor, you're crafting new tools, etc. Like sometimes you just want to be at home and chill at the base, and then stack resources and then get ready to go out. I think that's a perfect analogy that I can bring. I can bring to the table right now. People who who would prefer staying inside because things are expensive and want to stay inside to grind or to learn new things, to read a book, etc. That's perfect. The perfect analogy to that is kind of like Minecraft. When you play Minecraft, when you go outside, you mob hunt, you go inside to heal and stay. Because you're reorganizing and enjoying your new loot, you're repairing your armor, you're getting new tools, X, Y, and Z's. That's not a retreat, it's just preparation for the next time you want to go out. Because when you do go out, you don't want to be broke. So the last topic I want to talk about right now is, like, I think I want to say the real win in here that I talked about in an earlier video is peace is your top priority over impressing the most randomest person you find in the street. And yes, this means impressing that random girl you see in the malls. Right now, life is getting very financially heavy. It's very easy to spot those who flaunt money, pretend that they're winning, but they're not. I want to say people can build a good stability, financial stability, and emotional stability. Inner peace is what I'm trying to get at. Quietly and productively at home. I mean, think about it. If you go out, what that means is that you're just draining your wallet and your energy, so you're not missing out on much. I think staying inside is just about protecting your future and really enjoying the next time you want to go out. So for final remarks, is that everything is getting too expensive, the world feels unfair, but you can still win. You can still win by being intentional, staying inside, and reduce the number of times you go outside. So that when you do go out, you get to enjoy it and not be broke or not worry about returning broke. Alright then, fellas, so to remind everybody here, the point of my channel is to pretty much talk about finances. My intent overall is to help you guys level up, not only in-game, but most importantly in real life. The topics I've talked about already is finance, right? And I've gone on rants on these videos just talking about how, you know, how to level up, how to keep up, X, Y's, and Z's, and I continue to do this until something happens. I've seen potential and progress, but none so far, which is fine. I'm here to create enough content before, I don't know, I'm trying to get my voice out there. Alright then, fellas, later.